The tough ones are still here, aren't they? That's great. You guys are great. Being here this long.
So for the start, a question to you, Scott. Someone asked from the audience, and I have to translate the question. Before you started The Walking Dead, did you know about the show? Did you inform yourself about the show, what it's like, what it is about? And after your death in the series, do you still take a look what's going on with The Walking Dead?
I was not really aware of the show. There were 6 episodes, I believe, in the first season. I became aware of it when they asked me if I would play Hershel Greene. So I looked at the first 6 shows and I said, this is great, I want to be in it. And it turned out to be more than 3 episodes. It turned out that way right up front. They said 3, then they said 10, 11, then they said this season, next season. And when you hear the names Frank Darabont, Gail hadn't heard, you pay attention. Because they've been involved in a lot of great things. After I was killed, I do watch the show. Unfortunately, I haven't had the time to watch them in sequence, so I kind of am holding off now, and I'll wait until I can binge watch it and watch all of them in sequence after that. Because I am a fan of the show and of the actors that are on the show.
So a question to you, Jeff. You've been in 4 episodes. When you got the script, how did you prepare for the role?
Well, I prepared for the role by trying to enter the world that this character lives in, and it's a fascinating world to enter because you have to. It's the traditions are so strong. Like, imagine that. I don't know what the percentage is, but maybe 5% of the people are people and the rest of them are zombies. So you're almost ready to die at any moment. And what are you willing to do to stay alive? And the script tells you what you're willing to do to stay alive, which is, be an alpha and, take out anyone who is in your way and who might threaten you. And just owning that kind of condition really pushes you a lot in the direction of being that character.
Are there any questions from the audience? Fragen aus dem Publikum. You see, they're all satisfied. Come over here. Hurry up. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Run. Run.
Jeff, how is it like to get your throat bitten by your friends?
Very uncomfortable. That we had to shoot that, and we shoot things from so many different angles. And the first angle was all about Rick spitting out part of my neck. So we would get into an embrace, and then someone would put a piece of raw chicken in his mouth, and then squirt some fake blood in there. And then we would stand there while they were finished lighting. And I would have to say, hey, we got an apple, because he couldn't talk. His mouth was full of garbage. And then, I would say my line to him, what are you going to do now, sport? Dumbest line ever. Like, I'm going to bite your fucking throat out. And then he would just put his, face next to my neck, and I would spit, and I would fall down. And then they shot the part of me falling down with blood. They had someone over there pushing air through tubes running up your pants. Blood squirting out of a piece of prosthetic here. And Rick had to do that, and Andy had to spit out about 10 times, from different angles. And then I had to do this a couple of times. You're covered with blood, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's Georgia, and it's cold, and blood gets cold really fast when it's not really blood. It's supposed to be really blood, it'll get cold too, but I was completely soaked. It was running down my pants, my shirt, and it probably would have been more uncomfortable if he'd actually bitten out my neck than if he wasn't. But also fun. Very long answer.
So, a question to you both. In The Walking Dead, of course, there are a lot of scenes with zombies. Some have a few zombies in, and some have many zombies. In the case of shooting those scenes, are they very complex with all the makeup and the stuff and going on, and they do a CGI in some scenes later? Can you tell us or give you a little insight about the experience to shoot those scenes when a lot of zombies are involved? Are they complicated? And can you tell us something about that?
You have a lot more experience with zombies than I do. I only had one in my scene.
My first day on the set, they were taking me to the dressing room, or to the makeup trailer. And I ended up in Greg Nicotero's makeup trailer, which was not the one I was intended to be going to. But I stayed there and watched them make the zombie. I was fascinated by it. These guys that do the zombies are real artists. And they said, well, you're in the wrong makeup trailer. I said, I know, I want to stay and watch this. So, over what they have, what he has done is has three layers of zombies. The ones that are going to be featured is one, and they do much more intensive work on them. They make them much more complicated. It's more of their artistry goes into it. There's the second layer of zombies that will be seen, but not close up. But they will be seen close enough to where you have to do more makeup on them and do some preparation to their faces. And then you have the zombies that will be in the distance. And it's a very light makeup. And mainly what the walkers do is sell it through their body language and the way they move. They have a zombie school in Atlanta where anyone who works on the show as a walker has to go through that zombie school to learn how to walk, how to move, and what to do when you get eliminated. And as an actor, it was interesting to me because these zombies, the walkers, were always into it. Even when the camera wasn't moving, they were out there moving around with the zombie gait. It kind of, you know, you got used to it and you said, that's the world I live in. I live in a world where zombies are moving around like that. So they really add a lot to what goes on in front of the camera. Even if they're off camera. You see them, they lend the credibility to what you're doing. So I think that's a great question. I really appreciate the hard work that all of you put into it.
So a question to you, Jeff. You starred in many television shows that now have a cult following, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Do you think that you are drawn to this kind of genre, that you are drawn to the horror genre because you starred in many series like Poltergeist and the Kindred and The Walking Dead and everything?
I think that it's not so much I'm drawn to it, but it was drawn to me because in the first part of my career I was really, really dark. I had a lot of really unprocessed emotional baggage, and I scared people, and so they said, well, you might as well put you in a show where you can scare people and make money from it. And as I've gone through it, you know, I've changed. I let go of a lot of that darkness, but apparently it still plays on camera. So I think that's the reason.
So you both are in the business for a long time. In your case, Scott, your first movie was, I guess, In the Heat of the Night, 1968. So have you ever been to the point where you said, I don't want to do this anymore?
Never. Never. It reached a point where they said, we don't want you anymore. But I went, you know, I've been lucky. I was acting 5.5 years before I got my first film role. I was doing plays and workshops. Then I got blessed. I was very lucky and got some great roles with some great people. And that lasted for a number of years, and all of a sudden, bang, I hit the wall. I was out of work for 4 years. I couldn't even get an interview. It was like starting all over. And if you're going to be an actor, those things happen to you, and you have a decision to make at that time. Do I really want to be an actor? Should I find another way to make a living? Or should I start over? Because that's what you're doing in essence, you're starting over. So you have those holes in your career. I've been acting 53 years now, but I love it, and I will continue to do it. I'm fortunate about that.
Yes, what he said. It's, you know, acting is, anyone who gets to make a living doing something that they would rather do than anything else is really fortunate. When a real actor is acting, it's using every part of himself, and it's more fun than anything else there is to do. And it's starting over and starting over and starting over again and again and again. I'm beyond it.
So we have a question over there. Come to the stage, please.
So I have a two-part question. One is for you both. If you could say what is your most memorable scene in The Walking Dead for you to watch, and not necessarily what with you in it, just the one you thought was the most memorable. And for Scott Wilson, I wanted to ask what was your experience making Behind the Mask, Rise of Leslie Vernon?
My favorite scene is a scene where I'm speaking with Daryl, and he doesn't want to join our gang, and I turn to him and I ask him if he's a cat person, and it's the best dialogue, and like, are you a cat person, Daryl? I am. Vicious little creatures, loved them since I was 3. Anyway, here's one thing I know. Nothing worse than an outdoor cat thinks he's an indoor cat. I don't know who wrote that, but that's fantastic. That's my favorite.
How many of you have seen Behind the Mask? I see that's 3 people. If you haven't, you should check it out, because it's a parody on slasher films. And it is very clever, very bright, at times humorous, and at times it has all the elements that you want from a slasher film. So I would recommend that you go see it. It was a lot of fun shooting it. I mean, by opening scene, they're digging the ground up and unearthing a coffin. And I get out of the coffin. I've been buried in the coffin. I get out and walk away. I was practicing holding my breath. So I was like the instructor to a younger slasher who was brain picking me through the movie so that he could get all the knowledge that I had and how to slash people. So it was really a very clever film. And the lead actor is just a wonderful actor. He should be working all the time. All of the actors are very good, but he's professional.
So you now have the chance to talk a little about what's coming next for you. What are your plans? What you're doing next in the business? Both of you.
What I'm doing next? Now doing 2 or 3 episodes, maybe 4, thing that will be coming out on Amazon called Bosch. You have Amazon here, right? So it'll be, it's called Bosch. It's based on a Michael Connolly novels. He's an old friend and asked me if I would be in it. And so I'm there for 3 or 4 episodes. Titus Welliver will be the lead actor in it. He's playing Harry Bosch, a wonderful actor. And there's a couple of scripts that I would like to do. Let's see if it happens.
I've done a couple of movies. I can't remember the names of any of them, and I don't know if they're coming out or not. And I'm about to do another movie called I Do, a lighthearted romantic rom, go figure. And just doing a little bit of guest star work here and there. Just finished an NCIS in Oberhausen, and started work on a play.
Our time is nearly over for today, so would you like to say thanks and any final comments or thoughts? Did you like Germany and did you like the convention?
I think we've all had a really nice time here. It's you people are so welcoming and so friendly, and someone was doing a documentary here. He was asking me if I thought that people at conventions and horror fans were dangerous people. I think you're like the least dangerous people I know, and it's just been fantastic to be here. And thanks for making us feel so welcome. Thank you.
I will piggyback that. I agree with you 100%, with Jeff 100%. You're a great fan base. It's really we've really had a wonderful time here. It's getting close to the end of the day. We'll be at our table for another 10 minutes. If you're interested, that's where you'll find us. So thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, from The Walking Dead, Mr. Jeff Fuller, Mr. Scott Winter!
He's the man right there.